Right, welcome back to the Vengacast. Today I'm here with James.
Hello.
This will be the first baseball podcast that we've done. We're just going to go through, the MLB season, even though it's already started. We just thought we'd give it a few weeks to see how teams are going, just look at their records a bit before we try and predict how each division's going to finish, and then the playoffs as well, how they're going to go.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah.
Before we start, as tradition, I guess, you're an Astros fan, a Houston Astros fan.
Yeah.
How long have you been supporting Astros for now?
It's been a good few years now.
Because were the Astros like the first American team you got into, like sports team?
No, it was actually one of the last, to be honest.
Was it?
Yeah. Although it's probably the one I support the most now.
Yeah, I was gonna say because they seem who you're most passionate about.
Yeah, I think it's the one now. But I mean, probably got in about 2015 is when I kind of started.
Yeah.
And it's kind of I started because my brother supported them, and that was kind of the easy way. I just started watching their games with my brother, and so got that kind of connection, kind of stuck with it, and then just got more and more into it, and now kind of obsessed with it a bit.
Yeah. So what year did you start supporting the Astros?
I'm gonna say I started in 2015. I think I got properly into it in 2016.
Yeah, and they were pretty bad when you first started.
Yeah, not great.
So then, what was winning the 2017 World Series like?
It's just crazy because it's just like, so much went on in Houston that year with like the hurricane and stuff, and it all kind of meant so much that year for like the city of Houston as well.
Yeah.
And although I'm not like from there or never been there, and obviously wasn't there at the time or anything, but it just felt
you felt part of it.
Yeah, and it just felt so like kind of special.
Yeah.
And it was like a year that I'll just look back on pretty much. And
who's probably your favourite Astros player then at the minute?
My favourite player is by far Alex Bregman. I don't know why, but ever since he played his first game, we even had a kind of slow start, but he's kind of turned into one of the best players in the league. And I don't know why I even started. His kind of debut kind of time was when I really started getting into it. So I was like, I just really like this guy, and I don't know why. But
well, at the minute, I'm nowhere near as clued up on baseball as what James is. I haven't even been following baseball for a year yet. I only started about halfway through last season, but I'm learning. Well, trying to learn anyway, and I think I know enough to sort of have a go at this year, see what's going on. Been watching it every game pretty much for this year, and basically I decided to support the Brewers. Pretty self-explanatory reason. I'm a Packers fan in football, and I got into that before baseball, so I just thought I'd stay in Wisconsin, beautiful state. So, and I don't know. Obviously, we've got the MVP there, Christian Yelich, a home run machine most of the season so far, and just absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, hopefully he can turn things around for this season, because especially recently we're not doing the best. Now, should we get into this then?
Yeah, let's do it.
Start with the AL East.
Let's do it. So,
should we just go bottom to top or top to bottom, or?
What do you think's better?
I guess bottom to top. We'll go.
Sound okay. Well, I think the bottom's quite an easy one, and I'm going to say like the Baltimore Orioles. They're just not. They had a bad year. They had the worst record last year, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And they've not changed too much, so they've got a long way to go to even compete at top in their division, really.
Yeah.
Shall I just carry on going up and then do you after?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I'm going to have the Toronto Blue Jays in fourth. Not the worst team, but I think they've got a hard division, and there's 3 teams better than them. And then I've got Boston Red Sox in third place. Although they won the World Series last year, I don't think that's going to be a consistent them being at the top, really. I think they're going to miss out on playoffs. And then in second place, I've got the Tampa Bay Rays, although I think they actually look very impressive. And I think they'll make a wild card spot in the playoffs. But I have them missing out to the Yankees for the top spot, because I think the Yankees are very strong, and I think they will. Over the course of the whole season, I reckon they will finish at the top of that division. Because I think they've got that little bit more, but I'm very impressed by the Rays, so I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Rays came out on top.
So mine's very similar to yours. I've got Baltimore at the bottom, just like you said. They're in one of the toughest divisions in the Major League Baseball, and I know it must be hard for them. And I just can't see them getting out of bottom spot this year. Especially their home form's been killing them this year. They're 3-10 at home at the minute.
Yeah,
and fourth also Toronto. I think Boston's sitting there at the minute, but it's Boston and they're going to pick it up. But I think Toronto will slip into there. I also, once again, same as you, have Boston third. I think they will pick it back up, as I was just saying there, and get a few more wins. Definitely have a better second half of the season, but I just think the Yankees and Rays are on fire at the minute, and I can't see that slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah.
This is where it gets different to yours. I have the Yankees sitting second. Although, like what you said for the Rays prediction, you wouldn't be surprised if this finished either way. I agree with you. I remember obviously just getting into baseball at the minute. I was watching a video and I think I heard a commentator say, if you're a Yankees player and don't enjoy the taste of champagne, you shouldn't be there. They're just that used to winning. It's just the mentality that they have there. But I'll go with the Rays at the top, 16-9 at the minute, and they're looking really good. I hope personally that they can continue it, and I do have a bit of faith that they will. So the Tampa Bay Rays finished top of the AL East.
Yep.
In the AL Central.
Okay. In this, I actually have it kind of sitting as it already is, with Kansas City I think Kansas City and the White Sox will both be at the bottom. I think Kansas City will just edge it for being the worst team in that division, with Chicago just on top. I think they both don't have enough quality. Kansas City won the World Series not that long ago. I think it was like 2015, but I don't see them as being good enough at all right now to even get anywhere near kind of Detroit, who I have in third, who again don't have the best team, but I don't see them challenging the top two. And my top two is going to be Cleveland in second, and then the Twins taking top spot. But I think that's another one that's very close. The top two. So that'll be interesting, but I'm just going to edge it to the Twins and Marwin Gonzalez.
Yeah, I also have Kansas City at the bottom. They're just really struggling this year, 8-17, absolutely horrendous record.
Yeah.
And I just think their squad's just not any good enough to compete in the AL Central at all at the minute. Second bottom, I actually have Detroit. I don't know. I just sort of think Detroit, they're just an average team, but I think the White Sox have the potential to win a few more games. And I'm also a bit biased, and I have a bit of a soft spot for the White Sox because they're the other Chicago team that aren't the Cubs. So hopefully the White Sox can slip into that third spot.
Yeah, and you get to have your dream of going to watch them play.
Yep, always dreamed of that. I have the Minnesota Twins in second. I think they've had a really good start, but I can't really see it lasting. I know the Twins have a really good team. You were saying about Marwin Gonzalez and that before.
Yeah, although he's not been performing at all well this year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I think they'll just sort of peter out a bit towards the end, and I think the Indians will just come through and take that number one spot. They have a really good team. It's been talented for a while, and I think it's really showing at the minute. And I think Cleveland will just nick that top spot, but like you said, once again, really close. And then your division, the AL West.
Yeah, so I've got the Angels finishing bottom, even though I think they got the best, in Mike Trout got the best player in baseball, but they just don't have anything else really. And I don't see them. I can see Texas also being quite far down, but Texas have actually surprised me a bit this year. And they look very good at home. I think they're poor away from home, but they could do well. But I think they'll finish second bottom.
Yeah, Texas are 10-4 at home and 2-7 away.
Yeah, so I see Texas come second bottom with the A's edging it above them. The A's are a decent team, but I don't see them. I see Seattle being better than them and finishing in second. Seattle have obviously started very, very well, but that's starting to slow down a bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because I've got the last 10 games of 3-8, 3-7, sorry. And I don't think they will compete with the great at the top of the Astros, who I think will be the number one seed. I back us to have the best record in baseball altogether, so I mean, that might be a bit biased, but I'm liking especially the offense this year. I think the pitching is slightly underperforming right now, but that can easily change. And I think we've also played a lot more away than at home, and our home form has been very good this year, only losing one. So, and also I think we'll pick up on the away form. I think there's been a few series where we've been very disappointing. So I think there's still so much we can improve on, and yet we're still doing well. So I'm pretty confident right now.
I have it exactly as it is now. So the Angels at the bottom. I think this is probably the easiest prediction that we've had to make so far. They're so far bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, despite having Mike Trout, just away they're 2-9. At home they're doing all right, but that away form is absolutely shocking.
Yeah.
And sitting in fourth, the Oakland A's, or another team I sort of quite like a bit. I just think Texas are quite better than them, and I can't see Oakland A's overtaking Texas this season in the division, so they're sitting in fourth. And then I think there's quite a big gap between Texas and then you and Seattle at the top. So I think Texas will have to settle for that sort of mid-division mediocrity this season.
Yeah.
Just bang in the middle. Seattle's had a blistering start. They've been absolutely on fire. But I believe you just swept them in the recent series that you played, didn't you? So I think that was a real statement from you to show you are still the best team in this division, and you probably will come out on top at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of playoffs, who in this would you have? The first, second, and third seed, and then the two playoff teams. Well, the two wildcard teams, I should say.
Yes, Astros with the number one seed, then the Yankees, and then the Twins, and then I have Rays and Indians with the wildcard spots.
Yeah,
and then I'd have Rays beating the Indians with that wildcard spot. So then being the fourth, the ALDS being Astros versus Rays and the Yankees versus Twins.
Okay. I mean, we'll go into playoffs a bit more in depth at the end, I guess. But I've got the first seed as the Astros, same as you. I do think you will have the best record in the AL for sure. I'm not sure about division and as a whole, baseball as a whole, like you said, but I definitely think in the AL you do look the strongest team.
Yeah.
Second, I've got the Rays, probably a bit more biased, bit of a Florida sports fan, but hopefully Tama can keep up what they're doing at the minute and get the second seed. And then third, I've got the Indians. And my two wildcard spots go to the Yankees and the Mariners in your division.
Mm-hmm.
Right, moving on to the NL.
More on that after.
Yeah, start with the NL East. Very tight division.
Yeah, in this division, I have got Atlanta winning the division. Well, no, I'll start from the bottom. So I've got Miami finishing. I think Miami will have the worst record in baseball this year.
They are abysmal.
Since they lost Stanton to the Yankees last year.
They also lost Christian Yelich a few years ago. Big loss.
Yeah, at the time it didn't even.
Which is anything special, but
because I think Miami are finishing quite far bottom, and then I'm going to have the Nationals finishing in fourth place. I think since they lost Bryce Harper as well. Mm-hmm. I don't have them doing too well, but then I've got then the Mets finishing third. I think they're a decent team. I think they could easily get into the top two. I think the top three will actually be very close in this division. Obviously, we're talking before off this about Jake DeGrom, with who had a suspected bad elbow, but that's been cleared, which I think is
Yeah.
very important for them.
It's huge for them,
Yeah, because he was an all-star pitcher last year, as like one of the best pitchers in the league. And then I've got Philadelphia staying in second. With I think their off season has been very impressive. So I've been impressed with them, but I still think Atlanta will edge them. I thought Atlanta were very good last year. I believe they had like a 90+ win season. I think 95 wins, which is very good. So I see them topping the division again. And so yeah, that's how I see it.
Yeah. This is the second division in a row that I have staying exactly the same as it is now.
Fair enough.
I think Miami finished bottom, pretty self-explanatory that they are going to finish bottom. The Nationals obviously losing Bryce Harper to a divisional rival in the summer was absolutely a huge blow for them. You know, not only losing one of the biggest names in baseball in the first place, but losing them to someone else who is in your division in the Phillies. It can't be good. But so I think the Nationals, despite them being a good team and they are very close to the other three teams who I've got above them at the minute, I think that will start to drop off a bit towards the end and the gap will start to open up there. And then moving into the bit like the top three in this, I think it's going to be ridiculously tight between Atlanta, Philadelphia and the Mets.
Yeah.
It could literally, any of them could win it. Any of them could finish first, second or third, to be honest. But the order I've got it going in is spot on what it is at the minute. Atlanta, Philadelphia and then New York. The Mets at the top. I'd quite like to see the Mets win the division. I think I'm a big fan of Jacob deGrom, like you were discussing before. And even though the Phillies have Bryce Harper and, you know, there's a few stars in this division, I just think the Nets slightly edge it for me in terms of quality.
Mm-hmm.
The NL Central.
Yep. Okay, so for this one, I think this one's a very hard one to predict because I could see three teams winning the division. I'm going to say, I'll go and say Cincinnati will finish bottom.
Yeah.
With the Pittsburgh Pirates above them in fourth.
Mm-hmm.
Not too much I can say on those two teams. I don't know too much about them, but
Yeah.
going to the top three, I think this will be very tight. Between obviously your team, the Brewers, Cubs, and St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
I've decided to back you and say the Brewers will finish top. Although
top, I'll take that.
I actually kind of think St. Louis will. I'm going to back you and just give some faith, because when I make these underdog decisions, they work just like in ice hockey. So I'll bet I think this one's very hard. I'm going to say the Cubs miss out and finish third, but I find that very hard to say because I think they're also a good team.
I think they're average.
Yeah, I mean, relatively speaking, they're all right. But I'm going to say they're going to miss out, and St. Louis are going to finish second. Although St. Louis have been very good so far, but I think Brewers are going to top them, even though they sit in fourth right now. But I think Yelich will be key for the Brewers, and so hopefully he can get the pitching to back him up, and obviously some hitting from some others. But I mean, I think it's very hard to call that division. But since you're a Brewers fan, how do you think it's going to go?
I think Cincinnati at the bottom, just like you said, and then I also think Pittsburgh second bottom, just like you said. But I think Cubs in third. I think it will be very close between the top three. The Cubs and St. Louis have been on fire recently in their last 10. Chicago especially went 8-2.
Yeah.
They've got 3 wins in a row, so it's a decent streak for them. But although we're looking poor at the minute, I know we re-signed Gio Gonzalez on a 1-year deal yesterday. It was absolutely massive for us last year.
Yeah.
And hopefully that'll give her a boost. And we're on a bit of a bad run at the minute, but I have plenty of faith that we'll turn this round. And ultimately, I do think St. Louis are the best team in this division. Although I'd like to be biased and back us to come top again. I'll have us slipping into second and St. Louis win the division.
Fair enough.
Finishing off with the last division, the NL West.
Yeah. I think this was quite a hard one to call because I think the bottom two. I'm going to say the bottom two are going to be the Rockies and Giants. I think the Giants have a very good kind of pitching, have good pitching and defense, and can limit teams to a lot of runs, to a few runs. But they have no offense. But I'm going to say Rockies will finish bottom because although they've been on a very good streak in the last 10 of 8-2, that's obviously made their stats look a lot better. But they started very badly. But I see them staying at that. I see them like dropping to the bottom.
Yeah.
Giants only. I think it could be close with the Giants. Giants just above.
Yeah.
And then like talking about second and third, I think this is another hard one to predict because I think San Diego and Arizona have been very similar this year. Obviously, they've got the same records. I think that one will be tight. Tell you what, for Adam, I'm going to put San Diego second.
Yeah.
I think San Diego have one of the best kind of what's called like farming like teams, like like your youth, and
obviously made another team who made a huge signing this summer of Manny Machado.
Yeah, so I think the future looks good for San Diego, and I think they'll improve. I'm going to put them in the second spot, mainly just for Adam, even though I think Arizona Diamondbacks will finish above them, but I'm just going to say that San Diego to come second, and I think the Dodgers will win the division. Not like easy, but I think they'll win it quite comfortably.
Yeah, as they do every year.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the Rockies at the bottom, and then San Fran in fourth. Not a lot to separate them two, but they are, in my opinion, quite far away from the other three. In third, I'm going to put San Diego, which is where they are now. Like you said, San Diego has a really good future ahead of them. I think next year they could probably push to win the division, maybe even, depending on signings and how they play. But this year, I'm just going to have them sort of still going through that rebuilding process and finishing third, but still improving massively from last year and previous years. But I'll have Arizona sitting in second, and then, like you said, the Dodgers, just as usual, win the NL West.
Nice one.
Right. First, second, and third, and then you two wildcard teams again.
Yeah, so I've got Dodgers getting the best record, then the Braves, Atlanta, and then Brewers in third. And then I've got the Phillies and St. Louis taking the wildcard spots.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'll go. I think Dodgers get the first spot, get the first seed. The Cardinals get the second, and the Mets get the third.
Mm-hmm.
And then the two wildcard spots. This is where my bias does come in. I'll give it to the Brewers and the Phillies. Although I think the Diamondbacks do also have a good chance of making the wildcard spot, but
yeah,
I'll say Brewers and Phillies.
Okay.
Should we go more in depth on the playoffs a bit then?
Yeah, let's do it.
So if our hypothetical playoff runs do happen,
yeah,
we'll start in the AL again and go back to that.
So
what would your wildcard game be?
So wildcards, Rays against the Indians, and I'm going to have the Rays winning because I think I said it was going to be close between the Rays and the Yankees for that division, and I think whoever wins that, like whoever's the wildcard from that division, will win this game if it's the Yankees or the Rays. So in this case, I'm going to have the Rays beating the Indians.
Okay. And then what would your second and third be? That sort of game.
Oh yeah. And second and third, Yankees against the Twins for me. I've got Yankees winning quite comfortably in that one. And then I've got the Astros against the Rays in the other ALDS game. And I've got Astros winning that one. Although I would be quite scared of that game because we are not good at the Rays Stadium. So, but I have us and the Yankees reaching the ALCS, the championship, AL championship.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to back us to win that game, win that series, and have the Astros going through to the World Series.
Huge. So I would have, my wildcard game would be Yankees Mariners, and I think the Yankees win that. So I think playoff Yankees, although not as much recently, but traditionally they are very good and they do usually step it up. So then the Yankees would go through to play the Astros, which I don't know if you'd enjoy that, but I think you do beat them. I do think you do have a better team than the Yankees, so I think you'll edge them in the playoffs if that you do me at the. Is it the ALDS at that stage? Yeah.
At that time, yeah. The divisional ones,
Yeah. And then and then Rays Indians. I'll go for my Rays.
Yeah. Okay.
Florida boys got the back them.
The ALCS.
And then so my ALCS is Astros Rays. And I'm sorry, James, but I think this is where your run comes to an end and the Rays make the World Series.
Shocking.
Huge year for the Rays. Yeah. On the other side
coming back on here.
The National League.
Okay. The National League. I've got Phillies against St. Louis in the wild card. Although I think St. Louis will have the better kind of overall season with record and that, I'm going to say the Phillies are going to make it. I think Phillies will be able to clutch up in this game. But yeah, that could be a close one. Quite an interesting game if that happened. And then I've got what's the other one? I've got Atlanta against the Brewers, and I'm actually going to back you again. I've got. Sorry, I've actually got.
Fine.
I mixed up with the games there. I've actually got the Braves to beat the Brewers, unfortunately for you, to go through to the NLCS, and then against the Dodgers, who I think will beat the Phillies, and I think the Dodgers will make another World Series, and it's going to be the repeat of 2017. Instead of taking it to Game 7, the Astros will sweep them in the final, in the World Series. I'd say Astros will beat I think an AL team will win, so I think the AL is the stronger. Yeah, I think there's 4 or 5 teams from the AL that could easily win. Whereas I think Dodgers are the only ones I think would go close to winning from the NL. But I think the Astros will take it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my prediction.
So Dodgers, Astros.
Yeah, repeat of 2017.
The Astros.
I'm not going to say
Astros.
I'm not going to say a sweep, but I think
so.
5 or 6.
So you have the Dodgers making the World Series 3 years in a row and losing every time.
Absolutely
that would be pretty
beautiful.
rough.
Oh yeah, because look at that. I was speaking to my brother Ryan. Looks like the Dodgers they have a team to keep making the World Series, especially in the NL, and it will be beautiful just to see them keep losing it.
I'm gonna go. So my wildcard game would be Brewers Phillies. I'm gonna say we beat the Phillies, but I think it goes to 7 games. I think that would be a ridiculously close series. One I'd like to see. Then, obviously, winning that, we'd go on to play the Dodgers. Obviously, we played them in the NLCS last year. This time we played them in the NLDS stage earlier. And I think the Dodgers have too much for us at the minute. And they do beat us. I like, is it Bellinger at the Dodgers?
Bellinger,
he's a quality player. Yeah, Bellinger, he's really good.
He's a good player.
And I do like to see him and Yelich go head-to-head. They already have a few times this year. But, yeah, I do think the Dodgers would take us in the playoffs. And then Cardinals, Mets. Like you were saying before, I think even though the Cardinals probably do have the better season, like regular season than the Mets, I think the Mets beat them. Yeah. And it's a New York, LA, NLCS between the Dodgers and the Mets. And controversially, the Mets, I think, go all the way. I think the Mets make the World Series. I don't think the Dodgers, although there is a good chance, they probably are the favourites in the National League to make the World Series. I'd just like to see someone else make it, so I'm probably going more with my heart instead of my head, and saying that the Mets make the World Series. So it's a Tampa Bay Rays and New York Mets World Series final, and I'm going to say the National League team actually comes out on top, despite what you were saying. I think the Mets win this in 5 games.
Don't think a lot of people have that.
So my World Series champions are the New York Mets.
Mine are the Houston Astros.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about, or?
Well, I don't know how much you know, but maybe like MVP. early favourite for you? Well, not like
Yeah.
on current form, but who you think it might be? 'Cause,
Is this for? Are we saying like both divisions?
yeah, we'll do both divisions.
I'll let you go.
Yeah, I think obviously in the NL, Yelich is already putting up a good fight to retain it.
Yeah.
So, and I think I'm going to go between him and Bellinger. I'm actually going to go with Bellinger because I don't think he's going to win it back to back. But
I was literally going to say the same thing. I think it's between Yelich and Bellinger. Bellinger probably does top it this year.
I
think Yelich probably winning it last year might play a part in this because they probably will be favoured to give it to someone different.
It's like he's kind of shown that he's already done it, and maybe not as impressive as well. Even though it is, but that's kind of, I'm basing it a lot on what's already like happened in the season, so that so much can change.
Right, and then who do you think in the AL?
I'm going to go with my start of the season one, which was Alex Bregman, because he's a very clutch hitter as well and can hit big. And even though last season he had a very slow start, he was still considered an MVP last year with a very strong end with a lot of doubles and RBIs and home runs. So that was my prediction at the start of the season. Right now it's obviously so much can change. So that's kind of my prediction now.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Aaron Judge on the Yankees.
Good guy.
I think for me it's between three people in the AL. I think it's between Mike Trout, Bregman, and Judge. I don't know if you agree.
I think it's obviously hard to win MVP when you're on a losing team, kind of like Mike Trout.
But like you said you think he's the best player in baseball. I do agree with you. I think because of the record that the Angels are probably going to end up with, he pretty much can't win it.
I think he's. I'd have to say he's over the past few years and for the next bit, quality-wise, I think he's definitely the best baseball player. But I don't see him winning MVP anytime soon because it always seems to be a winning team. Never really a losing team would get one.
I'll go with Aaron Judge because I do think the Yankees will step up considerably this year. And even though I don't have them win their division, I do think personally Aaron Judge will have a really good year.
So much can choose.
Oh well, thanks for coming on, James, and sharing your opinions and predictions for the MLB this season.
Thank you very much for having me. Look forward to
it. Obviously, next time you're probably on will be for the draft, which is on tonight, the NFL draft. So we'll speak to you then.
See you.
See you.